Okay, so let's talk tents. So I'm sitting here in my brand new, well, new-ish. I've already set it up a couple times, but this is my ALPS Mountaineering Extreme 2. I was going to go camping this weekend, but there was the threat of snow coming in, along with a couple other things that I'm just like, I don't know if I want to deal with that. So I did want to at least test it out a little bit, see what the fit was like, and try camping out in it. So let me give you a little walkthrough. So we got a door right here. There's another door right there, which is kind of nice. So it's got two doors, it's got two vestibules. I'll try to keep the camera vertical so you can see what I'm talking about. It's got two very generous vestibules on both sides. The one over there is unzipped, so I can get in and out. There's an overhead area there, so I hung my glow sticks up and my little lantern. But the big problem I had was that I used my Coleman air mattress last night, and unfortunately it seems to have sprung a leak since the last time I used it. So I would pump it up, go to sleep, and probably an hour later I'd find myself laying almost completely flat on the ground, and I'd be cold. Well, because one of the things a mattress or anything else is supposed to do, it's supposed to keep the cold out of you. And, well, a deflated air mattress doesn't do a very good job of that. So, but even now it's about 80 degrees outside, and I'm actually still in the tent. And there actually is enough airflow that it's not uncomfortable, but it is quite warm. So I don't actually knock the tent for that, just because, well, tents get hot, especially when they're in direct sunlight. I probably started out the video with a quick roll of me setting it up. As you can see, I was able to set it up myself without too much headache. The wife did pop out at one point and offered to help, and I'm like, forget it. So even though my back's kind of been bugging me on and off for the last couple months, it actually kind of felt nice to, do all the bending over and stuff like that and get it set up. So the tent is, I think, about 5 or 6 pounds when it's fully rolled up, which is a little heavy just for a backpacking tent, but I think the extra size and this one is a 3-pole tent, which is a little bit bigger than some of the other ones I was looking at. The third pole runs, if you can see it, runs here and runs up and around. Pretty much was one of the deciding features for why I got this versus some of the other tents I was looking at. Excuse me. Where I go out in the desert a lot. I go up to the mountains, and wind is kind of a perpetual problem. And I've had a number of nights where I stayed in just kind of a conventional X-pole tent, with the older fiberglass poles, where the wind was just literally blowing the tent down right in my face, and it made sleeping really not fun. It did shield me from the wind, but nobody wants to deal with that. It just sucks. So, one of the things I did kind of fail on when I was setting up was I didn't put down my footprint, but I am sleeping on grass, so the footprint's probably not that crazy. I'm not too worried about damaging the material just setting down on grass, but now I know where it was. It was somewhere else in my backpack, so I'm going to take and repack this with the tent. That way it doesn't get lost and I know where it is. So even though, it wasn't super cold last night, it dropped down into the mid to low 40s. At least until my air mattress kept dropping me on the ground, I was fairly comfortable. Even in the light, I think it's like a 40 or 50 degree rated bag. I was wearing some sweatpants and a pullover, at least pullover, and a hat, so I was pretty toasty warm. So, thoughts on the tent overall? I'm fairly happy. I mean, it wasn't super expensive. I think I paid about $130 on Amazon, $150 total with the footprint and a couple other things I got for it. All the seams are taped in the bathtub, so seam tape there, seam tape there, seam tape there, which is a pretty nice feature. Means I don't have to do it myself. I have bought a number of other tents that supposedly had tape seams that leaked anyway. Hopefully that's not going to be an issue with this one, but you know, if it is, you just kind of roll with it, because, well, a tent that's mostly waterproof is a tent that's mostly waterproof, and that definitely beats a tent that's not waterproof at all. Size-wise, I mean, I don't know if you guys know how big I am, but I'm 6'8". And as a consequence, like any of these, you know, backpacker tents, like they try to get them pretty small and pretty light to cut weight, or pretty small to cut the weight. And the problem is that, yeah, I literally do not fit. A couple of the other tents I was looking at were like, you know, I want to say, what was it, 80 inches total? So when I bought this tent, one of the things I liked was its overall length. It was still kind of wide enough for both me, the wife, and the dog to get in here if we needed to. Obviously, we couldn't do it with these bigger air mattresses, but it shouldn't be a problem with the thermal rests. But one of the things I was just mentioning is that I'm 6'8". I'm a big dude, which is part of the reason I don't mind the extra weight, because, you know, 5 pounds versus 2.5 for a tent. It does matter. Ounces equal pounds and pounds equal pain, but I've got a lot of weight budget that I can carry without too much problem, even with my back acting up. But one of the big things that kind of helps my back is being able to stretch out. And with some of the smaller, lighter weight tents, I wouldn't have been able to get enough space to do that. I mean, as you can see here, if you my feet are indeed touching the bottom of the tent, and here on my head, I've got about that much space to the screen. I mean, granted, I can lay a little bit catty corner and get a little bit of room, which I don't think is too big a deal. It's at least comfortable and at least keeps me, for the most part, away from the walls, which is usually something I like, because if the walls get a little bit wet while I'm sleeping from condensation or air or anything else. Another thing I did like, even though it's not really buying me too much now, is the mesh net that this thing has. So it's got a really generous mesh net panel on the top. The doors you can see here, I just slept with the door open last night when I was able to sleep, just because I like airflow. And there's a pop-up ventilator on both sides, one in the back, one in the front, and you can also zip at it and get to it to open it up or close it, which is a neat feature. So overall, I'm relatively happy with this tent. If I could say that there's anything I'm unhappy about, it's the fact that I really haven't had too many opportunities to get out and use it yet. But hopefully that'll change. You know, it's still February, summer's coming, so be able to get out, do some stuff in the desert. And I did want to go snow camping, but I really haven't had any good opportunities. The winter here has been very, very warm. So I was out in the Las Vegas, Nevada area about 2 weeks ago, and I was going to go up to Lee Canyon, but I had been out of town for over a week on a business trip. and out there doing some stuff. And it just kind of turned into one of those things where it's like, you know what I really need to do? I really need to go home. So, but anyway, I'll probably go ahead and roll some footage of me packing up the tent. Or maybe I'll just take the putting up the tent and reverse it. Doesn't really matter, but I do need to figure out what the hell's wrong with my air mattress, because I don't use this thing very much for camping and for car camping, but I do use it when I travel, either staying at friends' houses or if we got a bunch of people in a hotel room kind of thing. So that's having a hole in my air mattress is kind of a major bummer, because I like these things. They're very comfortable, but when it just deflates at night, it's kind of useless. Like, wow, that's actually worse than pretty much every other possibility. I did think about pulling my thermarest in here last night, and I'm like, screw it. It's 3 a.m. I need to get some sleep. And it would take, 20 minutes for the thermarest to kind of fully inflate itself. And then I'm stuck with that. So, as it is, I still have to roll this one over, find the hole, patch it, and roll this one up. So, I got enough work ahead of me. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. Yeah, I'm doing a video of taking down my tent.
When you're done, can you help Kyle make a robot?
Absolutely.
Okay, thanks.
Can you even video it for him?
Fine.
I just got locked out of the house. Yeah, well, whatever. Anyway, so since I got my tent set up behind me, I'm in the process of taking it down and packing it up. One of the things I'm going to do, the tent poles and the tent stakes came with little rubber bands that were kind of nice, but, they're rubber bands. They eventually rot out and disintegrate when you need them most. So I'm replacing those with hair ties, which also do still rot out and fail when you need them most, but they last a lot longer than rubber bands. So I'm going to take and probably switch this over to quick mode, so you guys aren't sitting here forever watching. Okay, a couple of quick notes. So, I've got the tent in the bag. This is my footprint. These are my stakes and guys. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take and I'm going to pack this stuff kind of on the side. So when I go to repitch it, I can take and pull this out, put it wherever I like it, stake it down, and then I can start putting the tent on top. Done. And this still should be small enough that I can put it back in my backpack.